What is going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Today we're going to be doing a little album review from one of the biggest albums from the 80s glam era or hair metal era, whatever you want to call it. And that is going to be Poison's 1988 Open Up and Say Ah.
Hell yes.
Now, this one here is Poison's second studio album, and it did go 5 times platinum by now. And it reached all the way up into the second spot, I believe, of the top 200 Billboard charts, spawned 4 singles. And obviously, I think most people do know the singles, especially if you're in the hair metal side realm universe. So the 4 singles are Every Rose Has a Thorn, the ballad, the power ballad that pretty much everyone knows. The other single was Nothing But a Good Time, Fallen Angel, and then also they did a cover of Your Mama Don't Dance. And so you do have the four boys that is pretty much the OG of Poison, and that is Bobby Dall on bass, Bret Michaels on vocals, Rikki Rockett on drums, and you got CC on guitar. So here with this, I generally, I do like to talk more about the unknowns and forgotten albums of the world and the glam metal universe and the hair metal universe and such. But I gotta say, this one has grown over time for me. Now, yes, the singles, I don't really need to hear the singles again, especially, Your Mama Don't Dance, which I don't even think should be a single, let alone on the album. So I don't agree with that. But Fallen Angel is a very solid single, very good song. A lot of bands from the 80s would kill to have a single like that. And this is obviously the third single that came out for Poison on this album. But nothing but a good time. That is that one that does it will stand the test of time because it kind of encompasses everything what glam metal is known for and kind of what it's about. Now, yes, during the early 90s, there was a mature feel to hair metal, which I absolutely love. Not the grungy side of hair metal, but just it was like just becoming mature, kind of like Dog Eat Dog, even Poison's Native Tongue a little bit. And I just think there is a lot to be had from the new bands from like 1990 to 1993 that were just really good stuff. The blues was starting to come in too, and just the sleaze era, a sleaze side of things of hair metal, and but and then obviously with Every Rose has its thorn. Everyone knows the story behind that. Everyone heard that song before, and it is a good song. But yes, I don't need to hear that again. But with Nothing But a Good Time, no, it will stand the test of time. Even when that comes on like the radio, it still gets played around here. And when it does come on, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like, it's not, it is overplayed, but it's one, like I said, we'll test the time. Same thing with like Welcome to the Jungle. It still sounds fresh when it comes on. I don't hate it, but am I running to the iPod to play it? No, I'm not. But when it does come on and when you're in a party atmosphere, it is still good, it's still fresh today. So let's jump into the track listings here. And we got 10, and there's a total of 36 minutes. So it's quick and to the point. With we start off here with Love on the Rocks. Very good. Right from the start, I love I do actually really like the production on this album. I like the tone of CC's guitar. Now, CC, I would say, is not a top 5 or a top 10 hair metal guitarist in my opinion. I like him a lot. I great solos. Like I said, the tone for CC on this album is so good. But I gotta praise him on this album. This is a great album, great solos, great tone. You hear it on pretty much every song, and I think more so than some of the other albums, like Flesh and Blood and the debut. I think this is the sweet spot here for CC. So you got track number 2, Nothing But a Good Time. Good. Have it early in the album. Oh, that's fine. Number 3, Back to the Rocking Horse. Really good upbeat song. I can dig it. Track number 4, Good Love. One of my favorites off of this album. Really good chorus in there. 5, another catchy chorus here is Tearing Down the Walls. Scream and scratch, and it's really good stuff. Now, I will say throughout this album, especially like with next track number 6, Look What You Can't Touch. Yes, there are some certain spots on here where I guess you could say Brett's vocals are a little over the top, annoying, kind of very tongue in cheek feel, and like not I don't want to say like he doesn't like rap or anything like that, but it's just kind of has that cool demeanor, like yeah, I'm cool kind of deal. Now, I mean, I love Brett. He is a cool guy, but it has that kind of feel, which he does later on in the Poison catalog. Really starts to do that even more here. He does it a lot with Crack a Smile and More. Like on that album, he does a lot of that kind of vocal feel, and you can kind of hear it creeping its way in here on this album, which, in small doses is fine, but it's just like if someone that's not the biggest fan of Poison, I think they can kind of pick that up and are like kind of push them away. But to me, it's okay. It doesn't hurt one way or the other for me. So you got track number 7 here, Fallen Angel. Really good. They had a music video for this as well. Very good song. I like the story behind it. Really cool. So you got track number 8, Every Rose Has a Thorn, the ballad. And that is kind of crazy that it is this far back. And this is the only ballad on the album. So, for 1988, power ballads are a thing now at this point in time, but not as big as what they will be pushed in the next year or two, or even later in this year. So, but good nonetheless. I mean, overplayed, yes. Am I, going to the iPod to play it? But this is one of the earliest songs that I can remember from growing up. Because, like I said, if you guys have followed the channel, I came out of the womb basically listening to Poison, Cinderella, and Britney Fox. Those were the cassettes that were in the family car that were being played all the time. So like the singles certainly are ingrained in my brain. So I can definitely say yes, Every Rose Has a Thorn is certainly overplayed for me, but it does remind me of younger days for me. So, but now we go on Your Mama Don't Dance. This does not need to be on the album. I never really did like it, even as a kid. I mean, I guess I listened to it, but it wasn't because I thought it was awesome. It was just, oh, this is the next song on the track or what, or on the album. So and I do not want to hear this pretty much ever again in my life. I just do not like this song. On this strong of an album, this does knock it down a point or so for me. Like, because you had a perfect album going on here, because you finish off with Bad to Be Good, one of my favorite songs off of the album. I love the guitar solo on this. Even like Brett's vocal delivery kind of has a little bit of both of what I was saying, what some people might not like, but also has his singing style involved in the song. Great song, Bad to Be Good. But with Your Mama Don't Dance, you have that here. I'm kind of glad that they didn't put it at the end of the album, because you're kind of left with like, oh shit, okay, this song to finish off a great album. But I don't like it. Doesn't need to be on. Well, even on like Crack a Smile and More, they had the Face the Hangman, which was an outtake for this album in 1988, and that song is so much better than Your Mama Don't Dance. Now, would it be one of the better songs on this album? Probably not, but it's still good. Like, it still has all the elements of what all the great stuff, all the great elements of all these good songs are here on here. Great solo in that song. But I don't know. I don't like what they did with the cover here on this album. And it's just, to me, it kind of hurts.
Hey, Paul here from Paul Lydell's Scream Therapy, and you're watching the Crash Course Metal Show with Trevor Crash Knight.
And this album would be I'm actually kind of surprised, like the past couple of years, how much this album has gone up the ranks for me in like all of hair metal, which this might be like one of the bigger albums that I actually do appreciate, that went multi-platinum in the genre, that I really appreciate and can actually listen to, and not really hate for kind of hate listen to it. But yeah, for me though, the best songs on this album are Love on the Rocks, Bad to Be Good. I'll throw Good Love in there as well. Fallen Angel, which a lot of people do know that song, but that's a good single. It's a really good single, and like I said, it's never gonna go out of style, nothing but a good time. When you're in a party, at a party, even with non-metal fans, that you put it on with just normies, they'll dig it. They'll dig that song. But even like your metal fans will be like, okay, as long as they're reasonable, like they'll be like, okay, we can listen. This is all right. So for me, I think I will even go a 4 out of 5 for a rating for Poison's Open Up and Say Ah. And it's so crazy too, because you had, I guess, the PMRC. I don't know who the hell said that this one here, the original, was way too like not X-rated, but like parental advisory type shit. Like, oh, this is way too. Yeah, get the fuck out of here with that stuff. Like, what does it even mean? I mean, okay, it has an extreme tongue. Gene Simmons was on the cover doing this type of shit like 10 years prior. Okay, what's the deal here? I don't know. Anyway, though, now you had the kind of the tamed down version, but even that kind of works too. I will say it's not all lost, but it is what it is at the end of the day. I do prefer the actual original, the full face one, but it is what it is. So, like I said, guys, 4 out of 5 for me. So another interesting thing is that Paul Stanley was supposed to produce this album,
I was not aware of that.
but he had some kind of time constraints and stuff like that. So walk in Tom Werman, and everyone should know Tom Werman from he does a lot of stuff. He produced a lot of albums in the '80s from our hair metal favorites, like Straper, Kicks, L.A. Guns, Poison, obviously, and just plenty more. And it's just crazy that we possibly could have had a Paul Stanley produced album, but would have been as good. I don't know. More, maybe not, because like if we know anything from Gene Simmons production, it's just okay. I mean, he never, to my knowledge, I can't think of off the top of my head anyway, that if Gene Simmons ever went gold or platinum producing an album, which I might have to look into, because I don't know. I don't want to say that like wholeheartedly and be like, oh shit, yeah, that album, But I don't remember hearing that ever. And all the stuff that I do remember seeing Gene produce, and Paul for that matter, uh, I never seen it go platinum or whatever. So yeah, that's an interesting tidbit that I was not aware of up until a couple years ago. And it's just I dig this album. Now, does it get overplayed and everything? Yes. Is it forgotten and unknown? No. But I think the deep cuts is where it's at, though. The deep cuts are certainly where it's at for me, which really strengthens the album. And even the singles are timeless. Besides, Your Mama Don't Dance, get that one out. Get that the hell out of here right now. But I think it is a timeless album. With CC's Tone, I feel like this is certainly a capsulated era album for 1988 and just the late 80s in general and of hair metal. I think it's pretty much now. Yes, are there better albums? Of course, but I think just to give it to somebody and be like, this is what 1988 sounds like. This is what hair metal kind of is. I think you can give them a lot worse. I'll put it that way. And I think this to really show somebody what hair metal is of the late 80s, this is a pretty good shot. This is a pretty good, especially if they're not a technical type of person as far as like technical music and stuff, if they like the simplicity of things, like just simplicity of music. And I think that would be the go-to. So let me know in the comments, guys, what you guys think of Open Up and Say you know, has it gotten better for you over time or has it gotten worse? Let me know and let me know what you guys think of Your Mama Don't Dance, please. Because I feel like I'm not the only one, but I never really hear anyone talk shit on it though either. So I just don't think it belongs on this album. I think it just brings down the album. This album could have ranked a little bit, got a better rating for me if that song was not on here, because that just absolutely ruins everything for me. Well, not everything, but like it's just like what are we doing here? You guys are cranking out great songs, and just the outtake songs are so much better than what this is. And I don't know. I just think it's a chink in the armor for this pretty good album, nonetheless. But if you guys enjoyed this album review, check out the Poison discography ranking I did a little bit ago and see where this actually ranks in the whole catalog of Poison. And you might be surprised, actually. So check it out right here. And guys, until next time, thank you so much for watching the Crash Course Metal Show. Thanks for hanging out with me, partying with me. And until next time, guys, stay out of that collateral damage, and we will see you guys later.
Yeah, I wrote that. It's called I Want to Rock Your Body. And then in parentheses it says to the break of dawn.